at CrowSong Lodge, and I'm doing another spread review. I'm gonna call them like spread, no, that's dumb. Anyway, so again, I'm reviewing spreads that I found on Pinterest because Pinterest is my happy place, and the purpose of reviewing these spreads is not to harsh on these creators, but instead to kind of observe what I like and the different things that people are doing and kind of collect my own catalog of experiences for talking about spread creation later, and you guys can kind of play along and see my experiences with these things and what I think and feel about them, and you can try them out yourselves if you want, and then we can kind of compare notes and stuff, and then later on we're going to talk about creating our own spreads and how to design them. So for our next exercise, we are going to do the Tarot Business Planning Spread from Biddy Tarot. Now, I love, I just forgot her name. It's so bad. She's an icon, though. She is just an incredible person, and and I suddenly don't remember her name at all, and that's really bad. But Biddy is amazing. She has an amazing resource online. She's kind of the #1 or #2 stop on the internet for people who are learning to read tarot. Her website is biddytarot.com, and she has an incredible amount of resources out there for people for free, and then a whole bunch of paid classes and paid readings and stuff, and you should totally check her out because she's incredible, and she's a really huge support in the tarot community. And I just kind of ran across this spread on Pinterest, and so since she is such a huge name, I thought I'd go ahead and try it out, and also because it's already starting out with one of my biggest pet peeves. So let's go ahead and dive in and check out this spread from Biddy Tarot and see how it goes. So we're back now, and while the video was paused, I cheated and I looked up what Biddy's first name is, and it turns out Biddy's not her last name, and that's why I don't remember her first name. But this is actually Bridget at Biddy Tarot. So yes, she's fabulous. You should totally check her out. Anyways, today I'm using my mini Rider-Waite tarot deck, and if you guys know my story, you know that I have had this deck since I was 9, and it's a good old friend. Now in this deck, you may notice that I am turning the deck as I'm shuffling, and that is because this deck does use reversals, and so we will be reading with reversals today. You don't have to ever use reversals if you don't want to, and if you want to, you can always use reversals. I have a wonky system that determines whether or not I use reversals, and it's just the way that I do it. There's no hard and fast rules, so you can do it or not. That is entirely up to you. But just join me for the ride here. So I'm kind of looking at, this is a pretty well written little infographic for it, and it's got a pretty sensible layout. So let's go ahead and get started. It is 4 cards deep, which is one of the reasons why I'm using the mini writer this time, because it's a full spread. So we're going to start with card number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoops, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you can see, even with my mini deck, I barely have room on this table to spread them all out, which is, you know, my biggest complaint about spreads with lots and lots of cards is, you know, this is a miniature deck. This is the Shadowscapes in comparison, which is a standard size deck. So if I was using 10 normal size cards, or heaven forbid, jumbo cards, this would take up a lot of freaking space. But I'm using a mini deck, and so it's this kind of nice discreet space, which is still barely fitting on my table. Moving right along. So card number 1 is going to tell me what my purpose or calling is. And so that I laugh because I think it's accurate. So the Four of Wands upright is all about building foundations and celebrating those foundations. And so in reverse, it would be removing those foundations or preventing them from being built. But I'm going to say it's about shaking things up and rocking the boat. That's how I want to interpret that today. It's not the Tower, so I'm not shattering them apart, but I'm just kind of shaking things up. So the second card is, how can I bring my calling into my business? So how am I going to take this shaking up the status quo and bring it into my tarot business? And so here we have the Hanged Man. Now the Hanged Man is normally interpreted upright, is about taking on a new perspective, seeing things from a new point of view. And so in reverse, that would be keeping people from seeing things in a new point of view, or preventing people from seeing things in a new point of view. So already I'm kind of thinking like maybe I'm here to rock the boat and keep things old school. Like the way I learned tarot and the way I grew up with tarot, because there is a big philosophical and stylistic change in the tarot community that's happened maybe in the last 10 or 15 years that has been somewhat disconcerting for me and some of the other old timers. But I was kind of chalking it up to the fact that I'm a dinosaur and that's how people feel when things change a lot. So let's look at card number 3. And this one is, how can I get the greatest fulfillment from my business? Which is my favorite kind of card. It's about making me happy. And this is the Hermit, again in reverse. We just have all sorts of reverse cards, you guys. So the Hermit is about turning inward to seek enlightenment and find your own truths. And so this Hermit is like, no, don't do that. You need to talk to other people. You need to be working externally. You need to go out and be connected to other humans. So don't isolate yourself. So that's a pretty applicable advice card. So for card number 4, we're looking at, how can I offer authentic value to my customers? And so we've got the Two of Wands again. And in my last spread about how to take care of myself, it said to avoid long-term planning. And here again, we're also not going to be doing long-term planning again. So long-term planning is out. All right, for the record, the cards say no long-term planning. Our 5th card is, what products and services could I offer? It's kind of an awkward question to ask the tarot, but why not? So the 6 of Pentacles is all about profiting from your own efforts and skills. And so the products and services I could offer would lead other people to also profiting from their skills and talents as well. So that's interesting. This kind of feels like what I'm doing now, which is kind of teaching people old school things. So that's fun. So card number 6 is going to be, where do I need to focus my business in the next 1 to 2 months? And that is with the Empress. The Empress is a major arcana card, and this is all about not only getting in touch with our feminine stuff, but most of the time people are going to interpret this card as pregnancy and gestation. So that's how I'm going to interpret this, because we're talking about stages of things in context of this question. So that's what I'm thinking. The next 1 to 2 months, I really need to think about what I want to start growing and hatching, because that's what gestation is about. It's about hatching things. And then the next one is, where do I need to focus my business in the next 6 to 12 months? So we're going to skip over month 3 to 5. We're just going to ignore those months and just blow them off completely. And we don't go right to 6 months away, which is an issue for me already. And so for that, we have the 9 of Wands. And the 9 of Wands is not my favorite. It's just a lot of hard work. So that's exciting. So yeah, so the next 6 to 12 months is just going to be a whole lot of work. A lot of grunt work. It's just the work, grinding it out kind of stuff. So That's okay. That's like a lot of life, but 6 months of it's kind of a pain. That kind of sucks. Thanks. So number 8, this is where we're going to get to the really juicy stuff. What is the future potential for my business? So this is like, where should I even bother doing this? And for that, we have the 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups is a pretty happy card for me. That's happy community, happy family, happy home life. That is exactly what I want. I don't need riches, fame, or fortune. The 6 of Cups makes me super happy. Whenever I think the 6 of Cups, I think about cancers, as in the astrology sign, not the horrible, horrible disease. I'm talking crabs here. And which makes me think of my honey. So that is perfect for future potentials for me. I'll take that. And then for card number 9, we're looking at what new opportunities exist. We have the Knight of Pentacles, which is the opportunity to go after new opportunities, which is an awkward card there. Maybe, no, if I was going to be approached for new opportunities, this would be a page instead. So not, I have the opportunity to look for opportunities, I guess. And then overall, where is my business heading in the next 6 to 12 months? We have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is not my most favorite card. This is a masculine energy who tends to be a little bit harsh and strict, a little bit brash, a little bit my way or the highway. He doesn't always take into consideration other people's thoughts, needs, feelings, and he isn't really known for his compassion, but he's pretty good in an emergency because he gets shit done. So, I am not usually king, but I'm not really into strict gender assignments in tarot either, so I'm going to ask if this is me, and I'm just going to use a straight, upright, or reversed for my answers here. So is this me, captain of my own vessel? That's the 10 of Wands. No. Is this an opponent? Yes. So that tells me my business is heading in the next 6 to 12 months to go head to head with somebody else, which is not delightful. So that's kind of annoying. So here I've got 10 cards. I pulled 2 extras for clarification. I'm pretty disappointed with where this is all headed. And so I'm not really happy with this outcome, and really the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to say, like, okay, well, this is really shitty. How do I change this course here? How do I avoid the King of Swords? And for that, I've got the 2 of Cups, and that tells me that I need to find a partner to work with. It's not the Lovers, so I'm going to take this as not being my honey, but instead like a business partner, since it's in the context of my tarot business. And I'm going to ask if this is somebody I already know, and this is no, but there's going to be a while to wait before I run into them. That's the 4 of Swords in reverse. So, that's a pretty disheartening spread. And I had to pull 4 additional cards to the original 10 in order to get my answer. So that's a little bit frustrating. Anyway, I'm going to pause the camera and then I'm going to talk to you with my face. So as you can see, like I just said, I'm not really happy with how my spread turned out, and part of the reason is I went on this like 10 card journey, and then I had to pull 4 more cards at the end there to get some clarity and some answers and some more useful information. So that's a little bit frustrating. I don't want to go 10 cards in and then have feel like I'm missing super important information. I don't want to go 10 cards in and be like, wait, what? To be continued? Like, this is not a complete reading right now, and with 10 cards I feel like it really should be, so that makes me really unhappy. I mentioned earlier there was that weird gap between cards 6 and 7. Card 6 is where do I need to focus in the next 1 to 2 months, and then card 7 is where do I need to focus in the next 6 to 12, and then we have that weird 3 to 5 month gap, like am I supposed to take a nap there or just be unfocused, or... So I kind of feel like that was a really severe oversight there. And I would really, there's a lot of things I would do to rearrange this spread if I were going to continue using it in the future. I like where it started. It started out really good. What is my purpose or calling? I would phrase that differently, but the essence is good. And then how can I bring that into my business is really, really great. And I like that. How can I get fulfillment from my business? Those are great questions to start with. I really love that because it's kind of like recalibrating you to get you back on track to where you want to be. And then after that, it just kind of like, I feel like the rest of the 7 cards were all kind of filler rather. Like episodes in a season when they weren't really sure where they were going to go, so they just kind of gave you like side stories to fill the gap between when they figure it out. But that started really, really strong, and then I just kind of didn't care or got off track, gave me unhelpful information, and it just felt unfulfilling from there, and then very frustrating by the time that 10th card came around. So, like I said, I love Biddy. I think she's really fantastic, but I don't think this was a well-designed spread at all, and it felt very unfocused, but the overall idea was really good. So if you guys decide to try out, I didn't sell this spread very good. If you guys decide to try this spread out, go ahead and let me know how it goes and what your experiences are. Hopefully it goes differently for you and you have some different insights that I do. But if you don't, that's cool too. And then, like what I said, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about a lot of these experiences in a later video, and then see how we can put this input and feedback into our own spreads later on. I'm really going to be taking some notes because I really like those first 3 cards, and I think we can work with that. So again, this is Nathara at CrowSong Lodge. Check out my Ko-fi link, my Patreon link, and my website link, and also Biddy Tarot, because she is the bomb, you guys. Even though I didn't like this spread, she's still awesome. So go check her out and do all the things and click all the buttons, like the nice buttons though, not the mean ones, and I will catch you.